I've been reacting to top lists of best games of all time for the past few years now, and the main problem I have with them is that PC gaming is generally ignored, if not purposefully erased from gaming history. So here's my list of top games ignored by most top games lists you'll encounter.
Super groovy!
If you're new here, I'm Steven Nonsense. I've been playing video games for more than 35 years at this point. I focus on retro PC games and gaming culture from an Eastern European perspective. So let's start with Heroes of Might and Magic. Any of them, really. The Hero series is very rarely to be found on these lists, despite it having a super long life, starting back in 1995 as an offshoot of the even older Might and Magic series, which also doesn't tend to make it on these lists, which is kinda weird seeing as how it has 10 entries, but anyway. Heroes of Might and Magic has 7 main entries, an experimental first-person one in Dark Messiah of Might and Magic, a bunch of others that don't deserve mention, and an upcoming 8th game called Heroes of Might and Magic The Olden Era, as well as a crazily dedicated community who has modded many of the games to hell and back. Or better said, to Ashan and back to Enroth. Carmageddon. Look, I may not be the biggest racing game fan out there, but the lack of even a tip of the hat to Carmageddon is a crime against gaming history. There were few things bigger and better than the first 2 Carmageddon games during the late 90s to well into the early 2000s. The games were big, not only because of how dope their destruction derby nature was, since it allowed you to finish races in non-conventional ways, such as wrecking your opponent's cars or likewise wrecking all the pedestrians on any given map. But they were also big because of the controversies they brought, being censored in some countries by replacing pedestrians with zombies or robots and replacing the red blood with green goo or black oil, to being full-on banned in the entirety of Brazil and in Argentina only in the city of Buenos Aires, although that law got repealed a couple of years later. Neverwinter Nights is a pretty foundational modern CRPG which features a robust toolkit for creating custom adventures, not to mention a bunch of expansions that are generally better appreciated than the vanilla campaign. It got its enhanced version back in whenever it got it, and I've been playing through it on and off for a while now, in preparation for a deep dive into it. It's a really good D&D CRPG experience, even if it's not purely turn-based. Homeworld was a truly groundbreaking 3D space RTS at the time. It was released during the arguable high point of both quality and quantity of RTS releases. In an environment ruled by StarCraft, Age of Empires 2 and Red Alert 2, Homeworld truly set itself apart through its astounding 3D graphics for the time, space setting, and generally polished mechanics. Although, since it was both a more resource-intensive and single-player focused experience than the other titles, it didn't make it to esport levels of popularity.
Stand by group 1.
The Longest Journey is a narrative-rich point-and-click adventure game that sometimes doesn't even make it into the discussion about the best adventure games because it is overshadowed by titles which benefited from built-in awareness. It's a game that will not only absorb you into its world, but will also stay with you, even after 20 plus years since playing it. I have already covered it on my channel and I'll link it in the pinned comment. But I warn you, the video goes deep and personal.
April, daughter, I have been waiting for you.
Waiting? Why?
Because it begins here, with you, as it always has.
If you're digging this video and want to dive deeper into the world of retro PC gaming, hit that subscribe button to get notified whenever I post a new video. Let's keep the flame of retro PC gaming alive together. The Impressions game City Building series. Whether it's Caesar 3, Pharaoh, Zeus, or Emperor, usually the Impressions game city building series is ultra ignored. Mind you, other city building or management games are likewise usually absent, but not having any of the Impressions city building games is a slap in the face for all of us who loved these interactive spreadsheets.
Break evens? Those are really fun. Yeah, sure, I'll take a look.
The Settlers 2 sometimes gets a nod, but I'll tell you this, I'm fairly certain the Impressions games had a bigger impact on people's knowledge of these ancient civilizations than any number of lessons they may have had in school or documentaries for that matter. Flight simulators that aren't Microsoft Flight Simulator. There was a time during the second half of the 90s when Jane's Combat Simulations was releasing something every year. There was also the Falcon series and the Comanche series, which focused on combat helicopters. I really don't know why they fell out of favor, to be honest. Age of Wonders is a severely under-talked about tactical turn-based strategy game, despite it being part of a very long-running series, though there was a 12-year gap between the second and third titles, and I think that may be part of the reason why. Despite the series continuing, I've never seen it mentioned in any top lists, nor have I seen the first one in particular mentioned as one of the coolest tactical turn-based strategy games of the 90s. Championship Manager 2000. While I may not be into car racing games, I am even less into sports games, especially football games or soccer for those of you in the US. But there is one massive series which was hyper popular with a very specific niche of the gaming public which truly gets ignored: the Championship Manager games. And I chose Championship Manager 2000 because this is the only one of these titles I actually played. And to be honest, it plays a little bit like Battle Brothers if you think about it. I've actually been considering covering it as such. I don't know, we'll see. EVE Online, a massive multiplayer online game with an economy, politics, and wars driven entirely by its player base. That right there should have EVE featured on at least some of these top lists. Certainly not as big as World of Warcraft or as influential as Ultima Online or EverQuest, but the scale of player-driven intrigues is simply mind-melting, and not featuring the game on top lists is equally mind-boggling.
Docking permission requested. Docking request accepted.
What are some of the super important PC titles you never see mentioned on top lists? Share them in the comments. If you enjoy this and want to see more like it, click on the video on the left of your screen. If you'd like to support me, thank you. There's a link to Patreon on the right of the screen and my GOG affiliation link in the description. I've been Stefan Ansons. Thank you very much for watching and good luck out there.